Today we got a 2021 RDX A-Spec that we're going to be doing a FitCam X dash cam right here. It's going to be the assembly. Here's the rear. It's going to come with a USB flash drive, panel remover, T-harnesses, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to take you on a quick guide real quick on how to take it apart and install this whole system. That's pretty easy. First step would be to take off this cover right here. You're going to notice there's a notch right here. That's where you're going to insert one corner and this whole thing would just pop off. I already did it before, but that's how I did it. So put that aside, and then we're going to go ahead and release this whole assembly right here, and I'll show you how to do that. That whole cover is only held by these tabs right here. It's just a couple of locks, nothing too crazy. Once you get all that, it'll just pop off on its own, and then it'll reveal this plug right here. Alright, the first step would be to plug in the rear camera wire to the rear camera input. Go ahead and add a tape around the connection. That way it's not going to be bouncing around between the headliner and the roof. Just a little extra precaution. We're going to go ahead and pop that in. And then we still got to run the power cable. I'm going to see what that looks like. Go ahead and hook the T-harness labeled RDX. They actually come with two harnesses. So I'm not sure what these plug in for. It looks like a 24-pin plug, but since this has only 8, that's what we're going to use. I went ahead and plugged in the front camera. Go ahead and plug it into the port right here. And then we're going to go ahead and obviously run the rear camera to the back. We're not going to pop it in just yet because I want to make sure everything works before we pretty much seal it everything in here. But for now, we're going to go ahead and run the backup camera deal, and then we still need to figure out how to mount that from the back. Now we're going to go ahead and run it to the headliner, so just keep it a little bit short. You're going to be tucking it from the back right here. Just lift it up a little bit and then push the wire inside, and once you get to this point right here, you're going to need the plastic tool, and then you're going to move it just like this and then slide the wire inside. Now go ahead and move the rubber seal and then have it come out to this corner right here. Now we're going to tuck it in and then run it all the way to the back. And I'll show you what it looks like once I get to the back area. Alright, now that we're going towards the back, now there's side curtain airbags in these things, so don't try to zip tie it to anything that's obviously white, that's airbag. Just kind of tuck it in the edge, that way if the airbag need to deploy, not that these things would withstand the impact of the airbag, but you don't want anything zip tied to it, just as a safety precaution. Once we get to this point, we're gonna run it along this channel right here, stopping point right here. We're gonna see if we can mount it to this little bracket piece right here that's gonna be removable. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna run it to the hatch glass. This will be the easiest option, is to mount it right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and download the app, that way I can see the live view and see if the camera mounted here shows the outside clear enough to where we don't have to run it to the back glass. I have everything tucked in right here in between the glass and the headliner. Everything needs to come out in this hole right here like the factory. You're going to leave the plug here, that way you can tuck it in inside the cover. So I went ahead and pull the wire from the back towards the front since I needed more length to this area, so I had to come back and do all that. I should have just done it from the get-go, but it is what it is. Easy. So we're gonna go ahead and pop the cover back in its place, and then we're gonna go ahead and mount the rear. Once you hear the clip, to my understanding, the only thing that's keeping the tension closed is the little cover right here. As you can see, I decided to mount the rear camera to this plastic piece right here, not to the glass. Just the fact that I didn't want to ruin the plastic pieces and you can't drill any holes. I did put all the extra wires down to this area right here, and this one actually works pretty good. Make sure you clean it with alcohol wipe where you're going to be mounting it to, and that should be it. That's what the dash cam looks like once it's all clipped in. It does look pretty good. I wish these things have a screw. It's only held by the clips on all corners, so it retains the lane assist. but it adds a dash cam. So once you download the app, which is gonna have the barcode or the app code on the manual, so download that for Apple or Android. I'm just kind of showing you what it looks like in my point of view. Right now, this is my camera, and you can go the horizontal way or the vertical, or you can switch from both views, switch over to front and back, just the front or just the rear. I personally prefer half and half like that. So just to kind of show you, like I said, that's what you're going to be seeing. You can go ahead and change your settings in here. We're going to do the sound recording. We're going to drop it down a notch a little bit on the quality, about 2K. Loop recording, I always do 3 minutes. Collision sensing, I'd say medium. Like I said, you can change it to however you feel is perfect for you, but this is how I do mine. Other than that, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a message, comment, subscribe. I'll try to help you out as best as I can. Other than that, this job is done. Peace.